I want to go ahead and move on to the next part of my stream chat, and that's talking about my favorite TV shows of 2022 so far. Recently talked about my favorite movies of 2022 so far. That video is now on YouTube, so feel free to check it out if you have not yet seen it, chat. But, despite, 2022 being not the best, in terms of, socio-political things, I do think it's been a pretty good year for entertainment overall, chat, both for movies and TV show and games. Chat, we've had some great games, which I will also be talking about tomorrow. But I wanted to start off by talking about some my favorite shows, and also shows that I think, listen, there's been a lot of good TV. There's almost too much on TV to watch right now. There's some obvious stuff people are telling me you gotta watch. I haven't even watched this yet, and so I wanted to start talking about some of those shows, and also ones that people may have forgot about that came out earlier in the year, in the first half of this year. And the first one I wanted to mention was Reacher. Amazon's Reacher, chat. It's an 8-episode series based on one of the original novels by Lee Child. Now, there have been Reacher adaptations over the years. I think most recently, other than the show, 2 movies starring Tom Cruise. And, they were okay. They weren't, bad or anything. I wouldn't say they were awful, but they just kind of felt like generic action thrillers where, when you think of Reacher, that's some of the best kind of, action novels that you can get nowadays. I know there's, 20 or 30 books, and I've read a couple of them myself, and they're very entertaining. But, yeah, they just didn't measure up to the character, especially, because Tom Cruise physically didn't measure up to the character. Reacher, as Lee Child describes him, he's very descriptive with him, this 6'5" Aryan of a man, huge, sensitive, although very intelligent, chat, very kind of like, Captain America. I guess you can compare him to anybody, kind of like Steve Rogers from the Captain America and MCU movies, chat. And the guy they got for this show, which, like I said, 8-episode series on Amazon right now, already ordered a second season. It was so successful. Alan Ritchson, I believe that's what his name is. I actually know him best for a lot of the stuff that he did with Rooster Teeth. He was one of the leads in their first feature film, Laser Team, which was quite fun. Guy has a very interesting history, kind of a tragic history, Chad. And so this series was kind of like a big hit for him, a big win for him, and he's fantastic in the show. This is the kind of show it's bare bones, but it's not cheap. They use their money well. It's just this really solid thriller with this fun story and this fun mystery and these characters that you just like. With this lead actor, you can't help but anytime the Reacher comes on screen, it's like, okay, what's this guy gonna do? It's typically either gonna be wholesome or badass. It's gonna be one of those two things, chat. And I really like that. We're kind of in we oftentimes in a lot of action films, especially nowadays, the hero is very, very sarcastic, very smarmy. And not that that's necessarily bad or anything, but, we get a lot of those characters. And he's not really like that. He's intelligent, but I liked him, his wholesomeness and his sensitivity. I think he's very good. He's the standout of all the cast. But the rest of the cast is quite good. I really like this show. I think a lot of people I think some people might have forgotten about it, but it's the kind of show that, that you could watch with your dad, your dad who said you know what a man show is? Walker, Texas Ranger. Back in the day, people thought that show was good. It's no, you show him this because this is the proper evolution of something like Walker, Texas Ranger. Just this really smart thriller with a really likable character, chat. So just wanted to give a big shout out to Reacher. Very much looking forward to the second season. Good to see you, CDR Spot. Greetings, salutations. Hope you're living long and prosperous. You saw already today? I'm going to be watching that soon. Good to hear that. Good to hear. There's an entertaining film, a lot of heart. Nice. Very nice, my friend. Now, another show I think people forgotten. Not that they've forgotten, but maybe you may have forgotten because it came out earlier in the year. And I think it's the only animated show I have on my list. Sadly, I haven't watched a lot of animated TV shows. It's been so busy. But this one I was very impressed by, and that was the Legend of VOX Machina, chat, which is the animated adaptation of Critical Role, which is the Dungeons and Dragons tabletop series that's been going on for like years and years and years that's actually filmed. It uses a lot of they uses the characters from those campaigns, has a lot of those people who play those campaigns using their voice, a lot of voice actors, people like Laura Bailey and Travis Willingham. And, it originally, the first 6 episodes, I like this. I think the animation is gorgeous. Like right at the front, you're like, wow, they put a lot of money. Another Amazon show. They have money to spend, but I could tell they put a lot of money in this series. There's no doubt about it. They did not skimp on the animation. But the one thing that I criticized in the beginning was, I like some of these characters I think are really strong. They're very interesting what they're doing, what their stories are, what their histories are. Like the character of Percy, who's right above me here, my right shoulder. Loved his character. But there are other people like, Scanlan. I was like, he's kind of one note. Watch the second half. I think there's 12 episodes if I recall correctly. Once you get to like episode 6 or 7, then they really start to develop the other characters. And you learn more about them and like how competent they're, showing how badass a bard can be, chat. I really liked it. And I think it also, the other great thing about the show is that it acts as a gateway. We talked about this on Discord Discourse. It acts as a gateway to Dungeons and Dragons for people who are kind of unfamiliar with tabletop RPGs. This show made me interested. It made me want to go and actually, God, this is so much fun. It made me want to play Dungeons and Dragons. Come up with my own characters and, go on these campaigns and quests, and to do all this funny stuff. I thought that's pretty cool. Because, the Dungeons and Dragons always feels like it has a lot of gatekeeping involved. But I think because there's just been so much D&D content, and just in terms of the medium has crossed over into different mediums like video games and movies and now animated shows, that I feel like it's opening up and it's a little more welcoming. So if you were ever curious about D&D, here's showing some of the best of it in my opinion in animated form. Great series, wonderful animation, some superb voice acting from some new faces, or some new voices and original voices. But yeah, highly recommend The Legend of VOX Makachi. And also check out some of Critical Role's stuff. They have this point, thousands of episodes? Pretty fun. Pretty fun indeed. And I think that this show's already greenlit for a second season, and there is just a ton of other content that they could potentially adapt in different groups of characters too. It's not like these characters of Percy and Grog and all that and Scanlan. There's even more. So eventually, once they finish with these guys, they can move on to those other characters, which is really exciting. So highly recommend Legend of VOX Machina. Moving on from that, another show which came out very early in the year, I believe in January. There's a lot of superhero content this year, Chad. One of my favorite superhero shows this year is Peacemaker, which of course is a spinoff of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, one of my favorite, DC EU movies, one of my favorite DC films ever. And I think we can all agree, or I think a lot of us feel the same way, that John Cena's Peacemaker was one of the standouts in that movie, a movie that was already standing out, that was exceptional in my opinion. But I really liked his character. He is very much, as he's presented, like this douchebag Captain America. But this 8-episode series really expanded on him. We got to know him as a person, why he is the way he is. I mean, listen, when your dad is a racist Ku Klux Klan Robert Pattinson, it's like, okay, I can kind of see why he is the way he is. He's not that bad. But yeah, you're right. There were so many other great supporting characters in this show that made it work. So everyone from Vigilante to, of course, to Diebeard, yes. I loved it. It made me excited for the future of the DCU, because so often, it's been weird. DC's been, as a lifelong DC fan, like discovering DC in the 90s through Batman the Animated Series and the DCAU, all the Bruce Timm shows, Paul Dini writing and things, it's been frustrating to watch the DCU since Man of Steel just kind of flop around and not know what it is or what it wants to do. And, in the recent years, I do feel like it's getting better. They have a lot of fucking issues, obviously, with the Ezra Miller and the Flash and Aquaman 2 and Amber Heard. It's all over the place, sadly. But one of the things that I do feel like is working, at least, it's like in terms of the storytelling and the characters and giving these people arcs, is James Gunn's DC content with the Suicide Squad, most recently with Peacemaker. This show's great. This show's really good. Who would have thought you had a D-list character like Peacemaker would be better than the last several movies with Superman in it. I mean, that boggles the mind. The Peacemaker series, Chet, is better than a Batman v Superman movie. That's nuts. I just can't believe it. But it did it. It did it. And it's getting a second season. I can't wait to set up some really cool things. I mean, wonderful supporting characters, too. It's not, I mean, this is definitely John Cena's best role. He does a great job, in my opinion. But that's supporting cast. I mean, yeah, Vigilante, of course, and one of the many MVPs in this series. It's super funny. Super funny. And it sets up some great stuff. And it's sad. It's sad, too, Chad. Love Peacemaker. And I'm excited for what will potentially be kind of the James Gunn-esque content in the DC EU, because I guess there's going to be doing other Suicide. I mean, who knows if we're going to get another Suicide Squad movie, Chad? Because that movie, sadly, despite being critically beloved by both critics and fans, the movie was a flop and a commercial failure, which is disappointing. But hopefully, maybe we'll get like if they could do a Suicide Squad TV show on the same level as Peacemaker, I'll be happy. Or we get more spinoffs, I'd be happy. But this shows like, hey, you could do some great content with some lesser-known DC characters, and Peacemaker is the perfect example of that. So love that. And then another show which just wrapped up recently after coming back from a long hiatus, though, due to the pandemic, and it's also, I think, a return to form, and that is the Duffer Brothers Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1 and Part 2. Like a lot of people, I didn't love the third season. I didn't think it was bad. I think it was bad, but at that point, I did feel like Season 3 was kind of spinning its wheels a little bit. I felt like there were some characters they didn't really know what to do with anymore, like with Hopper. It was just like weird how they were writing him. And, not to say that there was some great stuff. Love they do with Dacre Montgomery. And, of course, anytime Steven Duster on screen, I thought that was great. And 11 is always interesting. But I was like, okay, you know what? Now's the time I think you can wrap it up. I have to say, I feel like maybe they took that criticism in stride. They listened. And I feel like they worked really hard on this season. I mean, the money's on full fucking display. There's no question at all. I think at this point, right at this moment, this is the most expensive TV show ever released. I think that'll change once Amazon releases their Lord of the Rings TV show, which I think is like $500 million. But I think this is like $270 million, so $30 million shy of $300 million overall. And it's on full display. But I just feel like they took the time and they wanted to give a lot of these characters something to do this season. Like, everyone's spread out across different storylines. And I think that's great. We got new and interesting and very fun dynamics between people like, Dustin and Eddie, of course. Eddie was a new character. Other people like Robin and Nancy, I thought had some great stuff to do. We learned more about 11, her past. But one of the things that I love about this particular season is the character and the villain of Vecna. I don't want to get into too many spoilers of this because this just happened right now. I love this character. He's fascinating. Where in the previous seasons we've had I liked all the monsters and things like the Demogorgon, the Demo Dogs, and the Mind Flayer, of course, and the Mind Flayer's meat puppet. Like, really fun. But I love that we get this really personal villain who just messes with the characters and tortures them both physically and mentally and emotionally. I love that very much. Inspired by characters like of the past, like Freddy Krueger and Pinhead and Pennywise. I just love it, and how Season 4 ties into so many of the other past seasons and in really interesting ways. It's like, whoa, it just kind of puts the whole series in a different perspective. Yeah, I really love this season. I thought it was a return to form for the series. I was like, this to me is kind of right up there of Season 1. Like, I love Season 1. I thought Season 2 was great. Season 3, I was like, I liked it, but didn't love it. This one, I'm like, this is kind of like neck and neck with Season 1 for me. It did so many things right. And it sets up Season 5, which, they're going to take. They said they're taking several years to make sure that that's done right, and I'm excited. I'm like, take all the time you need. If you can do it of the same level of quality as this season, I'm like, do it. Yeah, because how this season ends, they have a great cliffhanger. It's like, ooh, how are they going to approach it now? I don't want to say what it is, but I was like, okay, then I think you're going to see like a genre shift, and I think that'll be really, really fun. So yeah, loved this season. It was so good. And then a show which we're currently watching right now, which will have its last episode in only a few days, at least for its third season, and that is The Boys, chap. Eric Kripke, Seth Rogen writing this thing. It's been great. It's funny because I read the first volume of the Boys years ago. I was not a fan. I like Garth Ennis. I really enjoyed Preacher and his run on Punisher Max. That was great. But man, I really dislike that book. And so when I heard that they were doing an adaptation, I was like, oh, great. And this is already after like Seth Rogen had done Preacher, another Garth Ennis work. I'm like, no, thank you. But they have changed so much and for the better. And now we've gotten into season 3 where, in case you don't know, the whole premise of The Boys is what if superheroes existed in our world? And so they would all be like celebrities. They'd all be pieces of shit. They'd just be pieces of shit with powers. And they'd be very, very generous. And you have this dangerous. And you have this corporation that controls everything in VOT. And this most recent season, you have people making huge power plays and, upending the power structure itself. And you're bringing characters, some of the original soups back and putting them in modern day. Like Jensen Ackles, he's up there. In terms of performances this season, and Jensen Ackles is right up there as Soldier Boy. He's right up there with Anthony Starr as Homelander and Carl Urban as Billy Butcher. Just love what he's doing. It's like he's another Captain America-esque character, but he's that kind of like, what if John Wayne was a superhero? And it's like, oh, it's a fucking nightmare. And you don't want that at all. I've been loving this season and just all the twists and turns with everybody. I mean, we're getting to learn more about other characters like Black Noir, and we're dealing with the dichotomy between the members of the Boys themselves, how they're really not getting along right now, and just reaffirming that Butcher is a piece of shit. Been saying that for so long, Chad, but no, everyone's great in the show. Like I'm only highlighting. I don't mean to just highlight Jensen Ackles and Anthony Starr and Carl Urban. Like everyone does a great job. Jack Quaid does a great job. Let me tell you, if you've been disappointed by a lot of superhero content lately, you feel like it's just kind of spinning your wheels, whether it be like Marvel, the MCU, or of DC. Check out The Boys, because because everyone's saying like, oh, superheroes are done. They're going to go the way of Westerns. It's like, no. You can do a lot with this genre. You can have a PG-13 superhero epic like the Avengers, but then you can have something which, has the ability to comment on socio-political things that are going on in real life and be subtle about it. And sometimes not be subtle about it. Sometimes just shove it in your face and go like, see, this is fucked up, isn't it? And I like that. The show has balls, and I appreciate it. So I think it's a really good show. It's a really good show, and I cannot wait for the season finale, Chad, which we'll be watching very soon. And then moving on from that, we have Better Call Saul. Now that we're in the last season, Chad, they just did part 1. I think part 2 comes out later this year. I forget, August, September. I'm trying to remember. Listen. I think a lot of people have been doubting Better Call Saul ever since it was announced, ever since it's been on, because it's like, oh, it's a spinoff of Breaking Bad, one of the greatest TV shows of all time. It's like, yeah, it is. It's both a prequel series and a sequel series. I feel like this show is just as good, if not better, at this point. Like, after the last several seasons, especially like the first half of this last season, I'm like, this might be better than Breaking Bad. I'm not saying like Breaking Bad is a bad show. Believe me, Breaking Bad is one of the greatest shows of all time. I absolutely love it. Those characters are great, but this show feels like Breaking Bad, except it knows exactly what it wants to do in the end. It feels very confident. Like everyone is firing on all cylinders. Bob Odenkirk is incredible. Giancarlo Esposito, Jonathan Baker. Oh, God, Michael Mondo, Chad. Michael Mondo, who plays the character of Nacho Varga. He deserves, give that man an Emmy, all right, finally. His performance in part 1 of this last season is absolutely great. I love that guy. If you don't know, he probably, among our generation, in terms of the video game sphere, he's probably best known for playing Voss in Far Cry 3. He's that character, there's so much. Also, I mean, some of the other supporting cast, too, like, let me give a shout out to the actress who plays Kim Wexler, the paramour to Jimmy McGill / Saul Goodman. Rhea Seehorn is so good in this show, who acts as Jimmy's wife and kind of his confidant, and she falls into his schemes too, and they have a great dynamic of each other. But It's like this is not going to end well, as we inevitably know as we go into Breaking Bad, because she's not around. So it's just fascinating. Oh, Patrick Fabian, by the way, who I feel like doesn't get enough credit as Howard Hamlin. It was amazing. He did such a great job in part 1 of the last season. Outstanding, chat. And this part 1 ends on a hell of a fucking cliffhanger. And it just answers some cool questions. Like, yes, we know the fates of some of these characters. We know the fate of Mike Ehrmantraut. We know the fate of Gus Fring. But there's some other people, like, we just don't know. We still don't know the fate of Jimmy McGill / Saul Goodman or Kim Wexler, Hamlin, Nacho Varga, Lalo Salamanca, expanding on the Lalo Salamanca family. But even if though we don't know them, it's just cool to see people like Jonathan Bakes and Giancarlo Esposito just bounce off each other and really explore that relationship that seems so strong and steadfast as we get into Breaking Bad. But it's like, it was very tumultuous, to say the least. Like, it's so good. Like, anyone who's just saying nowadays, like, I'm not going to watch the spinoff, it's prequel boring. It's like, no. You got to check this out. You got to check. It's as good, if not better at this point, than Breaking Bad. And then the last show, I wanted to mention, which I'm glad that a lot of people are starting to check this out because it's very easy to watch. And that is Barry. Barry season 3. This is probably my favorite show this year, which is crazy for me to say because all the shows I mentioned have been great. Full Prices are better than Sex is on the DT scale, but Barry is that series that I don't think I have anything to criticize about it. Bill Hader and his writers and directors have done such a great job. This is a drama. This is a black comedy drama crime series that literally has no fat. If you've ever been just frustrated watching a TV show because it has filler or it has plot lines you don't particularly care about, it's like, I recommend Barry. Because Barry is a 30-minute show where it's dealing with all these different characters, but all of their storylines are very, very interesting. And it's not only following this ex-military guy, this Army veteran, this Army veteran who becomes a hitman, and he falls into the Hollywood system wanting to become an actor. I mean, it's definitely following that and, critiquing that, but it's also a critique on the Hollywood system, which, of course, Bill Hader is very knowledgeable about. I love it even that stuff is great. Amazing supporting performances by Stephen Root, who's one of the greatest character actors of our generation. Anything, even if the movie or the TV show is not great, Stephen Root is always great in it. His comedic sensibilities, dramatic sensibilities, chat. He's so good. Sarah Goldberg, who plays the girlfriend of Barry in this show, Sally Reed, her arc is fascinating. And she goes down her own dark path as well in this show. Anthony Kerrigan as NoHo Hank, which he's a Chechen mob boss, and yet he's probably the most wholesome person in the entire series at this point. It really shows you how far these characters have fallen. And Henry Winkler as Gene Cousineau, Barry's acting coach. This might be Henry Winkler's greatest role. Yeah, everyone goes, hey, the Fonz. I think this, all of his TV stuff and the things that I've seen him in, and I haven't seen every Henry Winkler project, but I think this is his best role. Yeah, and there's so many others. There's so many other actors, and they brought in some new characters, of course, who do such a great job, but it just surprises you. Like this, it does things. You can tell that like this is not a huge budget show, because one, they're fucking filming in LA, which is extraordinarily expensive, super expensive to do that. But they know how to use their resources really well. And even small things like sound design. Like in the last episode, Chad, how they use sound in this to convey what's happening is amazing and terrifying. It's like, oh my God. And you don't see anything, you just hear it. It's like, wow, this is filmmaking. This is cinema, Chad, even though it's TV. It's great. It's great. It's Bill Hader's best role. The finale of the show. It's very easy to binge, by the way. I think it's 8 episodes each season, and they're all about 30 minutes. You can watch this with your significant other or your friends over the course of a weekend, chat, of like most recently a 3-day weekend. Do that, and that final episode of the season, I'm like, what are you gonna do now? What's gonna happen? It's so good. I mean, it could have ended. That's what's so crazy about it, because it could have ended like right there in that finale, but we're getting another season. Very interested to see how they're going to wrap it all up, but man, all of these 3 seasons have been excellent. I'm so curious how what they're going to do next. I just don't know. I just don't know. It's nuts, but yeah, chat. All these shows are great. Everything from Reacher to Peacemaker to Legend of VOX Machina, Stranger Things, The Boys, Better Call Saul. But Barry, for me, at least at this point, I don't know how I would rank all these shows right now, but Barry at the moment is my number one. My number one show. But what about you guys? What are some of your favorite shows of 2022 so far? We still got some other shows coming out. We still have like the latter half of some seasons like Better Call Saul coming out. Maybe I'll take this top spot from each. I'm very curious, but let me know. And what about you guys, chat? How are you feeling about all this? Do you like it? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'm very curious. Let's see, Chris, I got to mention Michael Irby. Cristobal, oh, he's great. So he's ranging his role. Watch him on the Minds MC, going from a homophobic biker president to a closet Colombian drug lord. That's funny. No, Cristobal, yeah, dance for Cristobal is, what if, no, I say 50-50 for Cristobal. I love that. Their relationship is so adorable. It's so wholesome. Boomo, I honestly think they should have ended it, but they could pull off. I mean, they could have. I mean, if they chose to like, okay, that's it. It's like, wow, bold. But, yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. I have seen the Orville. I like the Orville a lot. That to me is like Star Trek Next Generation for our generation. It's very much TNG. Where the first season is very much like the first season of Star Trek Next Generation, trying to figure out what it is. And the second season, I think, is great. I haven't watched the most recent season, though. Everyone's raving about it. Everyone's like, really, it was off air for a while, right? It wasn't off air for like 3 years. It's been a while. Probably because of the pandemic. JCC4 is going to go off. I have ideas where it can go, but I'm not spoiled for this. Yes. I did not have Moon Knight in there. I honestly, I was just thinking of shows that I would give either a full price or better than sex to. You know, on like that double toasted scale. I'm like, I can recommend these to pretty much anybody, and I feel like they'd be entertained by them. You know? Like Moon Knight, I like Moon Knight a lot, but I feel like that last episode kind of, the third episode and the last episode kind of, it didn't ruin the show for me, but I was like, this kind of, it felt a little sloppy. There's a lot of great things about it, though. A lot of great things about it. I would give it like a matinee. I would give it like a matinee or something, like high matinee. People have been telling me to watch Severance and Succession. Yeah, I haven't watched Euphoria yet. Like, there's so much good TV out there right now, Chad. It's overwhelming. And I knew I was going to miss some stuff. Let me go ahead and just move some things over. I'm going to continue to read your comments right now. Let's see here. I didn't watch Atlanta season 3. No. I'm sorry. No, I didn't finish watching Atlanta season 3. I really like the first 2 seasons of Atlanta a lot. I feel like this is the weakest season. They had a lot of episodes where, especially this season, not that they haven't done it before, but like this season they had a lot of episodes where it just wasn't focused on the main characters, and some of those were just okay. I was like, I know what you're doing and what you're commenting on. It's like, oh, it's interesting, but I don't think it always worked. But I liked it, but I don't know if I would put it in my list of the best of the year so far. And so it's like, you know, I preferred the first 2 seasons personally. Man, Barry was so great this season. Motorcycle Chase was bananas. Yes, I also rewatched it. Like, it's funny because Corey and I were sent the episodes early for review. The effects weren't finished for that. Because I'm like, this looks weird. Because I was looking at it, I was like, this doesn't look. And then I watched it, like the actual episode. I was like, oh, it looks great. Because they use some CGI for certain things. Because I'm like, some of these fucking cars look like cardboard cutouts, and they were in the unfinished versions we were sent. And so I watched the actual episode. I was like, oh, okay. That's good. I thought so. The effects weren't done. Which shows you how much of the episodes are done with practical stuff. I'm about to come after you for sure. Oh, I know, Glee. I know. He wasn't not a fan this season. Let's see. Your name on my top 5 from 1 to 5. It's Barry, Better Call Saul, Boys, Stranger Things, and Peacemaker. A great time with Reacher and Legend of VOX Machina 2. Don't know where they would land, though, since I thought they both came out in 2020. I thought so, too. Yeah, apparently they came out very early. Stranger Things, The Boys, Only Murders in the Building, Evil in the Orville, New Horizons. I heard about Evil. Murders in the Building. Kaz's face been trying to get me to watch that. Yep. Murders in the Building. I heard that's really good. Kaz v. Peacemaker, Stranger Things, Miss Marvel, and Vox Machina. Still need to watch The Orville, Euphoria, and a bunch of it. Yeah, so much TV. Too many shows. Crispy, for me, it's The After Party, Dead End, Paranormal Park, Our Flag Means Death. Oh, yeah. The Baby. A Black Lady Sketch Show, Season 3, and Barry are as my favorites of this year. Moon Knight. That's true. Moon Knight was limited series. I mean, they keep saying that, but I'm like, how that show ends, I'm like, you got to do another season. Was Squid Game this year? Or was that last year? Oh, shit, wait a minute. Was Midnight? No. Was that this year? Hold on. I'm trying to remember. Well, no, it was 2021. That was 2021. Because Midnight Mass and Squid Game came out, but it was late last year. All right. Okay, I was like, oh my God, I forgot about those. I'm going to look. RD, I didn't mean to ignore you. What do you say? What? Hey, RD. Welcome to stream, RD. A pleasure to have you. I did not mean to ignore you. No need to lurk. Anyway. Triple List was good, says Mesmer. I did not see that. Felt weird to end Moon Knight that way. Yeah, it just felt really weird. I was like, what, really? Yeah. Like, I didn't mind getting to that point. Well, I didn't like how we got to that point. Like, that's interesting. That set something cool up. It's like, oh, we're going to get another season, right? And they're like, nope, miniseries. I'm like, there's just, I don't know. That was really frustrating. So I hadn't seen the latest season of Better Call Saul. Do it, pro. Do it. Last season, this most recent season, at least half of it, is very good. Oh, yeah. Fall season, I think, aired late December, but I finished in 2022. I'll allow it. If you're like December, it's like, I'll allow it. Moon Knight and The Boys love Moon Knight. A lot of people love Moon Knight. I mean, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I didn't love it, though. I didn't think it ended strong. It starts fucking Monday? Oh! That's coming out soon. And the most recent season has a hell of a fucking cliffhanger. Boys, probably Boo Boo Mala is my favorite this year for one I've seen so far. Stranger Things season 4 is super overrated in my opinion. Kind of shocks people love it. Yeah, I do. I love it, man. I know there's some haters. No, I'm joking. No, I know that there's some people that have not been digging this season. For myself, I definitely consume Stranger Things in the way that maybe I don't think a lot of people have watched it, or maybe most people do watch it this way. I just watch an episode per day, and I just really liked it that way. I mean, they're very long. They're very long. I mean, they're movies now. I mean, the last 3 episodes of Stranger Things were movies. Like, episode 7 was like an hour and 40 minutes, I think. I think episode 8 was like an hour 30, and then episode 9 was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and so it's like, those are movies. But I liked them. I liked them a lot. Oh, why should it be good enough to be on the list? Nah, I couldn't. Sorry. I thought Obi-Wan had some really good moments, especially in episode 1 and in episode 6, but I was left disappointed by Obi-Wan. Jason Lau of Vecna and Homeland are some of the best TV. Yeah, they really are. They're great. And I put Soldier Boy on the list. I know it's he's only been on for this season, but there's been some Barry you could say he's a villain if you want. I would. Stephen Root, Fuchs. No, a lot of good villains this year. It's probably the only show I love so far this year. I haven't seen a lot of them. I mean, meant to watch Better Call Saul, but I never got to see Spock. Yeah, a lot of people love Moon Knight. Yeah, I mean, I get it. There's a lot of great stuff to Moon Knight. I think Oscar Isaac did a great job. I like the supporting characters in that. Who is the actress? The actress I thought did a great job. Red Scarab. I thought she was cool. I thought Ethan Hawke was very good. I liked F. Murray Abraham as Mumra. What was the other thing? I love the 4th episode of The Mummies. That was so much fun. That was really cool. I like the hippo lady, the sexy alligator lady, chat. That was nice. Sexy alligator lady was nice. That was a nice welcome surprise. There's some good stuff. Listen, there's a lot of good stuff about Moon Knight. It's just that 3rd episode that, and then that last episode was like, wait, what? But it's like a high matinee. I can't put in my best stuff, chat. But to each their own. I love Obi-Wan too, but no argument. I get the complaints. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that love Obi-Wan. Like, I don't want to take that away from anybody. Like, there are some, the things that I think worked about Obi-Wan Kenobi was just a few things. I thought the best of that show was Ewan McGregor, Joel Edgerton, and Hayden Christensen. I thought they did a really good job. You know, even if the material wasn't always the best, like they know. I wish Joel Edgerton was in the fucking show more as Owen. I really liked Owen I guess he was only in episode 1 and episode 6, but every time he was on screen, I thought the episode just shot up in quality. I really liked him a lot. Just he had some of the best lines. He had some of the best dialogue in the show. And yeah, anytime fucking finally Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen were able to talk to each other, I was like, yes, this is what I want. You know, there's some really good stuff in there. It's just, that was what it was. Let's see. Rise Boba Fett and Obi-Wan were Oscar fans. Obi-Wan's honestly number one for me because for me, the positives usually worth the negatives. Fair enough. I was able to binge Stranger Things because COVID and work has killed my social life. Oh, no. I hope you enjoyed it, Toshiba. Oscar Isaac is crazy good. He is. No, he's great. He's outstanding. The acting was very good in Moon Knight. I didn't have any issue with the acting. Yeah, no issues with the acting at all. There were some great episodes. I like that flashback episode. Was it episode 5? That was very good. That one line from Owen in episode 6 that he is my own. I love that. No, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Owen's just over. Yeah, I like Owen. He should have went on the adventure of Obi-Wan. Should have been their story, but along with, Anakin. I want from sure Hayden is good. He's fine to do. Just show me to my core. I know. Three lines. I know. Well, that's the thing. Listen, Hayden Christensen is a very good actor. Like I always say, Che, you can be the greatest actor in the world, but if you get a shit script and shit direction, Bobby gave a shit performance. And, when he was fucking trying to deliver those lines of, sand, I hate sand. It's rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. It's hard to sell that, But when you give him a line like, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. And he says with that menace and that smile, it's like, fuck yeah. That's what we need. That's what we needed. But in any case, but look, listen. There's been a lot of great movies and TV shows this year. In terms of entertainment, 2022 has been pretty good. I really liked it for that, and it's only half a year so far. We still have the other half of other stuff coming out. I mean, God, we've had some great fucking films, some great TV. Some TV shows haven't finished up yet. We're gonna be enjoying The Boys this Friday, chat. So it's been good. So the line, I am not your failure. Oh, yeah, I'm not your failure. Yeah, I know. It's almost like he was saying, stop feeling sorry. It's almost like he was saying to Obi-Wan, stop feeling sorry for yourself. All right? I did this. I'm like, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah, the sound design on Vader was great. The back and forth between Hayden and the James Earl Jones. Apparently it's not James Earl Jones that did the voice. It was used with the machine, I guess. I was like, oh, shit. Because I think James Earl Jones is too sick to do it. The man's like, what, 93, 94? He's old. But he can't do it anymore, sadly. But how they did the Vader voice, I thought was quite good. Like, I thought everyone's like, that sounds like James Earl Jones. That sounds just like him. But apparently it's not. Any case. Don't need to always know and say, yeah, no, I get you. It was great, but how they did the voice and the back and forth, that was really cool. It was just like Mark's Hamill voice. Oh, okay. I thought they did it better with Vader. It sounded more natural. I mean, as natural as a dickless cyborg can get. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Sounds subtle, yeah. Very cool. No sand inside. I mean, there was some sand. There was some sand in that series, Chad. We were on Tatooine for a little while. But there you have it, Chad.